The name of the book that I will be reading is called Seizing the Light, A History of Photography. And I will try to share most of these pictures with you as we go along. It's very heavy. To my wife, Hirsch, and my father, Edwin Hirsch, for their support and love, and to photographers past and present who have made this project so enlightening. I have found a way of fixing the images of the camera. I have seized the fleeting light and imprisoned it. I have forced the sun to paint pictures of me. I usually save the preface for last, or preface or preface, but I prefer to call it preface for some reason. I don't know why. But just to get a little bit more in depth to the book, the name of the book is Seizing the Light, A History of Photography by Robert Hirsch. I got it at Prairie Archives. Got it from my neighbor, but have never gotten the chance to give it to him. So I might as well read some of it or all of it, whichever comes first. Chapter 1 is called Advancing Toward Photography, and it's got this really cool picture. It doesn't say any date or anything. Oh, wait, it does. The first illustration of a camera obscura used to observe a solar eclipse was published in 1544 by Dutch physician and mathematician Renerius Gemma Fresius. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Courtesy of Gershom Collection, Humanities Research Center, University of Texas, Austin, Texas. See? You can kind of see. And I'm just going to start off with one chapter for now. Alright. The name of the chapter is called Advancing Toward Photography, The Birth of Modernity, A Desire for Visual Representation. The idea of photography existed long before the camera was invented. A primary function of visual arts originated a desire to create a likeness of someone or something that was deemed worth commemorating. The human urge to make pictures that augment the faculty of memory by capturing time is at the conceptual base of photography. Since ancient times, artists and inventors have searched for ways to expedite the picture making process, eventually concentrating on how automatically capture an image directly formed by light. As early as the 5th century BC, the Chinese philosopher Mo Tai, I hope that's how you pronounce that, discovered that light reflecting from an illuminated object and passing through a pinhole into a darkened area would form an exact but inverted image of that object, offering a prototype of the pinhole when lensless. Lensless camera. I always do that when I read. In the West, the first recorded description of the pinhole was made by the Greek philosopher Aristotle in 384 to 322 BC, who in circa 330 BC observed the crescent shaped image of the sun during a partial eclipse. projected through a small opening between the leaves of a tree onto the ground. When these observations were first formed into a camera remains remains uncertain. By the 10th century, the Arabian mathematician Al-Hazan. Now, this is really interesting. Al-Hazan, I think that's how you pronounce it. Demonstrated how a pinhole could be an instrument and that images formed through an aperture became sharper when the opening was made smaller. Although Roger Bacon's treatise Perspectiva and De Multiplicatione Spectrum, I don't think I got any of that right. I tried though. Circa 1267 does not specifically mention a camera. It indicates he used the optical principles to contrive an arrangement of mirrors in order to project images of eclipses as well as interior views of his house and street scenes. In Perspectiva Communis 1279, John Peckham, an archbishop of Canterbury and a probable student of Bacon, remarked about observing a solar eclipse through a pinhole in a dark place. During the Renaissance, the evolution of the camera can be linked to a new Western concentration on science. The 15th century Renaissance scientists, with arguments founded on experiment and observation, meant people no longer had to accept the authorities' unproved word for what was real, but but could look to an open process that was not predicted on belief and magic. Besides praying for their invisible souls to be accepted into a theoretical heaven, scientifically minded people built large ocean going sailing ships and complex machines to carry their physical bodies out of the old world and into the new material world. Material! Material! I lost where I was at. There we go. Educated society started shifting toward objective, documentable, repeatable facts. Science was offering an alternative to faith. Perspective. Perspective drawing allows artists to depict a three-dimensional space on a flat surface. Although a system of perspective was known to the Romans, Filippo Brunelleschi, Brunelleschi, I think I got that one right. Brunelleschi, Brunelleschi of Italy invented the linear perspective. We are accustomed to around 1413. In this system, objects are foreshortened as they recede into space, and lines converge to a vanishing point that corresponds to the spectator's viewpoint. Leon Battista Alberti's treatise on painting, 1435, was dedicated to Brunelleschi and provides descriptions for using geometrical linear perspective in picture making. Alberti compared the picture plane to a window.